So very good afternoon, students. We are in unit number 2 in modern rectifiers and resonance converter. So unit number 2 was pulse width modulation rectifiers. So we have seen properties of ideal single phase rectifier, then realization of linear ideal rectifier, then single phase converter system incorporating ideal rectifier. So till that we have seen in last class, and today we are just going to see how to calculate the loss of a converter, then the efficiency of the converter when the converter is being operated in continuous conduction mode with an high quality rectifier in a single phase PWM rectifier. Okay, so first of all, when you want to say loss, we would like to model the converter loss element so that we can correctly specify the power stage components. So what is the power, input power, what is the output power, so what is the power which has been lost in each and every stage, that's all, that is your loss, and from that loss we can directly say the efficiency. So loss and efficiency are interlinked. We know the basic equation of Ig of t is equal to Vg of t by Re. This was we are seeing from the starting of the unit number 2, where that Re is nothing but emulated resistance, that is not real resistance, that is your conversion ratio. Like when you say transformer, you have primary, secondary. From the primary to secondary, what you can change, that change is done by this fellow called Re. This is not a normal resistance, this is called an emulated resistance. So Re is chosen by the controller, so only controller will sell. So what the controller will give is only duty ratio. So first step in calculating losses, you should know about what is the duty ratio. So that's where we have to start. So we can continue to model the low frequency component of the converter via average, but resulting equivalent circuits are in general time varying and non-linear. We always, there is some assumptions. When you try to do anything, you have to first set up some assumptions, then only you can proceed. And if you want to disprove any person invention, only if you touch on assumption you can directly easily disprove, which is, for a best example, we always say E is equal to mc square. We all know that equation, E is equal to energy is equal to mc square. So energy purely depends upon mass. So if you object, if you want to know the energy of the object, then the mass of that particular fellow. But this E is equal to mc square is being disproved for the energy from the sun. Okay, from the sun there is no mass which is traveling, but this photon, when it comes to try and eat any object, it is generating heat. So there is no mass, but the energy is there. So when you touch the assumption of any particular thing, you can do. So for us, we have to take some assumption. So even without assumption, I cannot do any calculation, because here I cannot take a time varying and non-linear system. I cannot take, but all the systems will be time varying and non-linear. But always we used to do derivation taking that the system to be linear. So that is the first assumption we will always take, but actually result will slightly deviate. The deviation is because of the system is always a non-linear and it is a time varies. So a system, when you start at morning, and when the system is in the afternoon, and then the system is in the evening, and the system is at night, there will be some changes because of the external temperature. So if temperature change, the behavior will change. So all the systems are time varying, but what we will do is, at a particular time, say time is equal to constant, we will put, that is itself is an assumption. Okay, so here we are putting two assumptions, that is inductor is significantly small such that it has negligible influence on AC lines frequency component of the system waveform. So this is the first assumption we are taking. Then we take second assumption, that capacitor is large so that the output voltage V of t is essentially equivalent to the equilibrium. I have already told there is some mistake always there in my slide, is DC, instead of putting DC it is putting as DE. So wherever you see DE, it is DC. So We all know when any filter circuit, if you increase the capacitance value, then obviously the ripple in the voltage will come down. So have a good output voltage without any ripple, capacitance should be very large. So this is the two assumption we are taking, that inductor is small, capacitor is large. Okay, this two are the assumptions. So now I am taking a converter circuit. We all know this is a converter circuit. So input voltage, output voltage you have. So this is a boost converter. So in a boost converter, you know, at one particular time the supply will charge this inductor, and the next point of time supply plus this charge stored in the inductor will come as output. So that is why you are able to get twice the value of input voltage. You can see here when I turn on the switch, what will happen? There won't be any current flow in this particular path because this is shorted. So starts from here, the current will try to flow through the inductor, this is short, and this will come here, so nothing will travel in this side. So now this inductor will get charged to this supply voltage. So once the switch is off, so you have a voltage here, this also behaves like a voltage, so twice the value of the voltage will be charged across this capacitor. So this capacitor will be charged for 2 Vg. So now this capacitor will try to discharge to load. The thing is, capacitor is not a source. Okay, it can only discharge, and the discharge will be at very fast rate. So this, since the discharge rate is very fast, you have to charge this capacitor at a very faster rate. So that is why we go for high frequency. So you will operate in 25 kilohertz, which means I am switching on and off at very high speed. So at that very high speed, what happens is this capacitive discharge will also normally will be at very high speed. So at high speed it will discharge, and with an high speed you charge. So your output will be twice the value of input. So that is how we are able to boost. So this is the boost circuit. I repeat, at one time you have to store this L. At that time nothing you have to discuss with respect to load. Then turn on the switch, turn off the switch. Now this supply plus this stored will be transferred to the capacitor as a twice. Capacitors are not source, it will only discharge at a very faster rate. So this discharge is occurring at very fast, so you have to charge this again at a very faster rate. That is why we are operating at very high speed. When you operate at high speed, you call it as CCM, continuous conduction mode. So now this is the converter circuit. Now we are going to draw equivalent circuit. So when you draw the equivalent circuit, this L will have some amount of resistance, that is called RL. So we have taken here, and this is we call it as a switch. So switch will have its own on state resistance. It is an on state switch, will have its own on state resistance. So on state resistance I will call it as D on, and why this D is, only at the time of the switch is on this resistance will be there. So duty ratio with respect to on, so that is why I am putting it as D R suffix on. Okay, so when you remove this switch, then it is like something like a transformer. We have already told, from the input side your output is going to increase, and this diode will have, again it will have some on state voltage drop. Okay, so all this will be put together, will be your output side. So this is the equivalent circuit. So here what and all I have changed is, inductor will have some resistance, MOSFET so that is I have written here, which a model inductor resistance we have written as RL, MOSFET on resistance R on, and diode forward voltage drop VF. Okay, so since we told here only with respect to voltage is being charged in this capacitor, no need to represent this capacitor here, because this is like a source for a shorter duration of time. So that is nothing but what is the voltage coming to this diode. So from at this diode itself you will get the twice. So that is why this switch is replaced by like a transformer, showing that this is primary, this is secondary. So here itself you will have the rise in voltage, the twice voltage will come across this point. So when that voltage is occurring, some voltage is dropped across the diode, so that is called a diode voltage drop. So remaining will be transferred to the secondary side. So this is how a boost converter we will discuss. Now that boost converter I have multiplied with an AC side. From the AC side I am discussing. Here I have not shown the AC side, I have told it is only DC, but some rectifiers will be used, and that diode rectifier will come into picture. That diode rectifier, when you try to bring, then this will become DT, because this has some ripples. So ripples is like when you put a diode rectifier without any capacitor, it is nothing but you will get a off sinusoidal waveform, like both on positive half cycle you will have in terms of variation with respect to sign. So dt, now the person will come with this is nothing but rate of change with respect to time. So it is changing in nature and changing in output will be there and all. Okay, so that is with respect to equivalent circuit with respect to rectifier and a converter. So now what and all steps to be followed is solve for dt waveform, then average current we have to find, then find other quantities like efficiency and all that. So we will start with the first step of expression for controller duty cycle. So first thing I want have an expression in terms of duty cycle. So that is the first step in calculating your efficiency. So controller varies duty cycle, this has been given by our standard equation. This equation you should not forget in your unit number 2. Wherever you want you will see only this, because Ig of t is equal to Vg of t by Re. So Re I have told it is like a transformer here, transformer resistance, what is variable from with primary side to secondary side. So by solving the input side loop equation, so you have to write loop equation, then this in this loop equation you try to bring it to it. Instead of it, bring this fellow here. So see, right hand side is there, left hand side instead of it I am putting this term. Now just rearrange it, and we know that Vg of t is equal to Vm sin omega t. This Vg of t is coming because of this particular circuit. Here I told no, you will have like a sinusoidal in fashion. So that sinusoidal in fashion is Vm is equal to sin omega t. So now I can rewrite the equation and try to get it as d of t is equal to V minus Vg of t divided by V minus Vg of t into Rn by. So here two terms are common, so try to bring the term common outside, you will get the relation. So this expression neglects converter dynamic as assumption that justified when these dynamics are sufficiently faster than AC line voltage variation. The expression also neglect the operation is discontinuous mode. So what and all we have omitted is, we have omitted the dynamics, we have omitted their discontinuous conduction, and we rectifier operates in continuous conduction mode is alone taken into picture. So after calculating your duty ratio, the second step is I have to calculate what is my load current, that is current which is coming on my load side. So for that the equation is I d of t is equal to differentiate I with respect to t, so that will become d of t V by C. I of g of t we all know that we have substituted here. Okay, then d slash of t is 1 by d of t, this is just a differentiation. So d of t by dt is equal to 1, that is the relation from we have interpolated and we have written is. Now substitute this fellow here, instead of this V dash of t I will substitute 1 minus d of t, and this d of t I have already calculated. Okay, that is what I have calculated here as a duty ratio. So try to bring that particular fellow and try to substitute it here. So from this I will get I of t. So now the equation become little bit complicated because your term sin omega t is there. If this fellow is there I cannot do, because it is time variating, and we have already told we have to come out of this time variation. So with respect to time variation, if they are there then I cannot solve. So integral you have to do this. This is a little bit complicated. With the help of computer knowledge only you can do it, and we will try to simplify and write the equation in terms of as if like you can see here, we finally reduce the equation as A is equal to Vm by V Ron by Re. So this is what is the final equation. By the waveform symmetry we need only integral 0 to by 4. because see, when you take sine, it is this full wave, and when you do rectification, you will get only in positive half cycle. So out of the 4, only one part is more than sufficient, so only divided by 4 we do, and that part alone we try to integrate it, and theta we will substitute at omega t, and we will try to reduce the equation, and finally we will bring a equation for in terms of f of a. The evaluation of integral is little bit tedious. It arises not only the boost but for other controllers also with high quality rectifier. The derivation is not given here, but involves substitution of z of tan theta by 2. So all such things is little bit tedious. We omit, and we will try to get the equation as f of a is equal to 1 plus 0.862a plus 0.07 into a square. So a will always lies between 0.15. This is the constant a. So predicting approximately the within 0.1, and when you omit this a square term itself, the accuracy will be plus or minus 2% only. So but we cannot avoid, we will take it for our consideration in calculating the efficiency. So if you plot a graph between FA and A, so it clearly shows after a value of, when A value starts to increase, then the function of A will also vary from 1. So less than this we will not consider, only after this. So A is some, f of A is sometimes value of, so okay, so from that we will solution for converter efficiency. So when you want efficiency, you should know what is input power, what is output power. So from input power and output power I can calculate my efficiency. So efficiency, in this efficiency equation you see the term FA, so substitute that FA term here. So we will come to a conclusion that your efficiency depends upon the on state resistance of the MOSFET and the term RE. RE depends upon your duty cycle or the way in which you try to transfer from input side to output side. So you might have in your UG, you might have thought what the MOSFET is going to do, but the proper selection of MOSFET only will yield in good result for your circuit. So all the MOSFETs you cannot go for all the applications. So if you are doing for a particular application, you have to properly select the MOSFET. See, there are thousands of MOSFETs available, but you have to properly select. See, higher rating MOSFET, if you try to put it in your circuit, see, you are making something that it is a battery charging circuit which will going to give about 3 volt. Say, let us assume for your mobile phone, you are trying to do a charger where current rating, amps rating and all will be very less. In that case, if you put a MOSFET whose operating range is around 600 volts, try to bring that MOSFET and put, then that fellow will have maximum R on, and the efficiency will come to 10%. So that is, you might think MOSFET is just a switch, but that switch is playing a major role on your efficiency. So when you are not properly selecting the so when you go for low power application, go for MOSFET with the low R on. So resistance offered by MOSFET when the MOSFET is on should be low, otherwise efficiency will be nothing. Okay, so that is what we try to conclude. So that is what this subject itself is. So this you might have not seen when you are seeing UG. Okay, so it can be seen that higher efficiency is obtained when the peak AC voltage Vm is close to the DC voltage V. The efficiency range of 90 to 95% can be obtained even with the MOSFET on resistance as high as 0.02 E. So this relationship, this is a ratio between RE and R0 should be, so R0 should be 0.2 of RE, then only you will have maximum efficiency, because RE and R-on is a relationship. There you can see. So R-on should be 0.2 of RE. Okay, so now let us do a small example. Output voltage is 390, output power is 500, RMS voltage is given, input RMS voltage VRMS, efficiency is given. They asked us to calculate what is power in RE, Vm by V and R-on. All are direct formula. V in is equal to V out by efficiency. They told V out what is, they have told what is efficiency. We calculate input power. Then RE they are asking, it is V square G RMS by V. This also they have given. So 120 divided by power we have calculated. This is what they have given here. Okay, RMS input voltage. So RMS input voltage divided by power in, we will tell about RE resistance. So this is the resistance of the load. This is the resistance that tells about the transfer from input side to output side. Then Vm by V. So again you have 120 into root 2. So value of into RMS into magnitude, if you want you have to multiply. Then they have given value, so it is around 0.4. Then R on they have asked you, which is nothing but 0.007 of RE. Just multiply it, you will get 2.1. This is what we have used in that calculation. So R on should be of 2.1 ohms. So now you have got this. So with this, go to the data sheet. In data sheet of any particular MOSFET, they will tell what is the R on of that particular MOSFET. Try to bring it, and that MOSFET if you put, then only you will get the power, output power of 500 watts. Otherwise you will not get this 500 watts power itself. So this is because loss. So loss, try to reduce your output power as well as your output efficiency. So this is how it has been very useful for your design. So with this we will try to stop the class.